Hey, we're Coilguns from Switzerland.
And you're watching rockflash.com.
Yes, you are.
And here we are again, rockflash.com at Damnation 2025, and I am joined by Louis and Kevin from Coilguns. So you've already played. So most of the bands we talked to today are about to play, but you've played. So how was it?
It was pretty fun.
Yes, it's always very strange for us to jump from the cave to the stadium.
Yeah.
But luckily enough, we played Mutation Fest yesterday in Brighton, so that was like a good step up from the normal caves we're playing usually. And of course, it was electric, beautiful. It felt like.
And you spend a lot of time just galloping around the stage, climbing on things, jumping up things. Is that just your personality, or is that just a stage persona you have?
We get to play 35 minutes, and that's a very short time, a very short amount of time to meet new people.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people in front of the stage, and that makes me hyperactive, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people to hug, a lot of people to shake hands with, and so that explains the running around, I guess. Yeah.
But the energy, that was one of the things, we've seen you a number of times, but the energy that exudes from the stage, do you see that as being one of the quintessential parts and what makes you Coilguns?
I think so, yeah. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this band is a catharsis of a lot of things, and we get half an hour or 1 hour a day to get most of this shit out. So we're gonna do it 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And also, completely. There's a lot of things. We see a lot of people depressed. Because it's a pretty dystopian part of our history, and since we were not born for that, so we are trying to reset our brain all day long, and I guess most people also do, and it feels very good to spread it out.
And I think that idea of almost seeing music as therapy, I think that really comes a lot, in your stuff. It is about getting all those bad feelings and just pouring them out.
Yeah, but mixing them, it comes from a place that is maybe dark, and but I hope, or we hope, that it comes out as love, because it is what this is about. It's the balance, how to balance fascism and all that shit is with love, and so it is energy, but it comes from, it's motivated maybe by something dark, but it comes from a good and beautiful place, I hope.
And there is a euphoric sort of thing to, I think, your music, is the fact that it is dealing with, as you said, dark social matters, but it's doing so in a euphoric, almost hopeful way.
But that's what riots are for. It's to share euphoria and be happy for a minute before the cops come. And be ready.
And there is a real political, side to your music. You, as I said, you have, snippets around, pharmaceutical companies using your country to sort of essentially create ill-gotten gain. Is that politics, for you, really important?
It's mostly where the songs are coming from. We're turning everything that bums us out into songs, and we perceive ourselves as possible Swiss ambassadors, and we'd like to give an image that's probably different from what Switzerland is actually trying to give. And recently, the evolution is that Switzerland's being very sneaky. Always did, but it feels so obvious now. If you look at what's happening in Gaza, what's happening in the general foreign affairs in Switzerland, we see the country of Geneva Convention being very not implied in anything, involved in any process that meant for us being defender of human rights. And that is the same for all the pharmaceutical shit we're denouncing on stage. It is just, that was what happened in COVID, pretending not to be part of, but making money out of it. And we tend to give shit about it.
And I think that's really interesting, because there is a movement that says, music shouldn't be political. But actually, at the end of the day, everything is political.
That's what band is that?
I don't know, but I quote it.
Skunk and Nancy.
Skunk and Nancy. Everything's
political, and she's right.
Yeah.
She's
Oh,
right.
and we have people complaining we're not political enough.
Yep. That's true.
We just we have. I mean, we are 4 white guys on stage, born in Switzerland with a Swiss passport. We have a lot of privileges, and we are completely aware of it. We try to be as much as possible aware of it, and we like to defend causes that we think are righteous for us, and we like to just share a good party with people, trying to give them strength, trying to give them hope, trying to give them happiness, and to bring them together so that hopefully in the next morning they'll be more willing to go to the riots and do something.
And also probably educating, because I think that's part of the.
I mean, we're no lesson givers.
No.
What we can share is our point of view, mostly about, like he said, the Swiss side of things. But we're not going to give lessons to anyone ever.
But with the beauty of Google and internet, people can hear what you talk about and then go find out about it and then make their own decisions about it.
Yeah, it's the thing. Internet is fun and it creates communities, but our perception is that, especially after COVID, we've been locked down, all of us, for many years, and it brought us the opportunity to think a lot about it. And our response is, let's at least first bring bodies together. I mean, looking back at music videos from the 90s, just look at any sort of a bootleg video from a show from the Melvins, you just will see people flying around all the time. And that created community in it, and means probably there was things to be changed about how we perceive our body and the social context, and we think we can create a safe space where people and bodies can actually meet and touch and hug and feel safe and feel stronger, and that is a value we can add to the thing.
And that's the beauty of this music. So we've had lots of bands doing that. We've had yourselves, which was, as you said, there's a riot there, but we've also had Stamping Ground, we've had Raging Speedhorn, and all of them was just this melting pot of bodies slamming into each other.
We rather not pretend it's not around. I mean, all these questions are in people's mind all the time. They are showing up in smartphone threads all the time. So we don't like, I mean, we sometimes do, but we don't like to name causes because that would be just trying again to give lesson or maybe going too deep. We like to talk about it after the show, and we truly invited people to talk about it after the show. But when we are saying it's just about let's smash fascism away. That is the major danger right now.
And it's getting, what I got was it's getting people to think, and actually that's the important thing.
We want them to think and sweat.
Yes. Simultaneously at the same time.
There's multiple brains in our body, and I believe if our feet are already thinking, it's a good job done.
As they say, fuck art, let's dance.
Let's dance.
As they say, fuck art, let's dance.
Yeah.
So, the policy stuff's really, really, really interesting, but I'm also interested in you as a band. Is there a grand plan, or is it just basically go where the opportunities are?
Well, the grand plan architect is not here right now.
I mean, we are a community of souls. We grew up together. I mean, Kevin has joined the band like lately. I mean, he's the last one to join, but he was already driving us 15 years ago. No, so he's like a close friend, and we try to think of our community as a little tribe. And we're just of course just a bunch of white dudes trying to make music and do something about it. It has a huge toll in our life that we need to pay every day. Keeps us away from our families, keeps us away from our loved ones, keeps us away from everything that feels or would feel like normal for normal people. And we feel very lucky to do this. And our plan is to keep it going as much as we can. And of course we're growing old, but we belong to a scene that feels it doesn't have any ends.
No, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that as long as our bodies are able to do it, and as long as they do, we will keep it going.
And I think this festival's a really good example of that. You know, we've had Onslaught on before. You know, Onslaught were my way into this 40 years ago. I bought their first record, and that's how I started off into this world. I'm now in my 50s, but that's how I started into it, and I still love this music. I think what this festival shows with bands like Onslaught is there is no end.
Yeah.
Actually, there is no time limit to doing this.
So that's the thing, I guess. You doing that here and you doing this here is probably because you have some sort of passion. It's obviously not about the money, and it is the best drive to do things. And as long as this thing is going and we can make it like durable, then we keep it going.
Well, we do it because we love meeting bands like you who are electric on stage, but also have got something to say. And I think that's what's fantastic about metal, is the fact that it is, you know, to quote MC5, kicking against the pricks. It is basically pushing against the ideologies.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but since we've never been famous, luckily enough, and so we had to do things ourselves. And we eventually founded our own label that Jonah is taking care, the guitar player is taken care of, and we do everything by ourselves. We've always did, and this keeps us from going too crazy. It keeps us down to earth, and even if we would not sometimes want to. And we definitely are dreaming of having just a break, or having a little bit more of fame that could bring a little bit more money to the table, so we can pay our technician a better amount of money, what they deserve. But everyone is trying to, you know, invest in making this last as long as possible, because that's the best thing we found out we could do with our lives.
And that again's come up in conversations we've had today about saying, you know, this has to be a hobby, because actually there isn't enough money in it to make it a full-time job.
Wow, you're talking to Swiss people.
Yeah, we have, like he said, big privileges. Like, we living as a very, I mean, we're all almost below poverty level in Switzerland, but we can still live. Like, so the lines are blurred and they're different from a country to another, but there is not enough money to pay everyone what they should be getting by industry standards, but there's, for now, the right amount for us to keep going.
That's the thing. It seems in Switzerland you could basically, as long as you have a Swiss passport and your skin is white, you could probably lay it down in the street and no one's going to let you die. Funnily enough, it doesn't bring more freedom to people, and it doesn't invite them to do something they really care about in their life. And it is a strange legacy we're trying to process, and music is the best school.
No, I'm from Norway, so I understand the same thing about sort of that whole, almost what it creates in that idea of, you know, having that much privilege. You almost just get used to that much privilege, and you don't actually. I think what's fantastic talking to you is that real thing to push against it and to say, okay, we are aware of it, we're naming that privilege, but we actually want to push against it. We want to name where it doesn't work.
We tend to think of privileges as what has brought us here. Otherwise, it probably would have been different. And since we're here, we try to do something that's meaningful out of it, and still not burn out. Because there's so many questions and so many fights.
And also creates a really exciting, you know, 45 minutes, you know, of music. You know, I know a number of people afterwards said that was brilliant. That was just the energy, the excitement,
because all of the things we've been talking about have to sweat out in some way during these 40 minutes. So there's a lot to.
It's been fantastic talking to you. The band there are about to start, so I'm going to ask. No, they are literally. They are about. Good timing. Hell Ripper is about to basically rip his way through the wall here, so I'm going to ask you one more question. It's been. I could talk to you all day. It's been really fascinating talking to you both. But I've got one more question, which is: so you played Damnation, your first time here. If Gav goes, right, you're really good. Next time you can have your own stage. You can have the Coilguns stage. That's it. You do with that stage as you want. What would you do with it, and who would you have put on it?
Oh, we would have a giant screen with a video of the trial of Benjamin Netanyahu in the International Law Court. And then we would just play a casual show in front of it. And that'd be a dream we could follow.
That would be a dream.
That is the best answer we've ever had to that question. Just absolutely. Right, so on that bombshell,
hopefully you would have it.
I'm going to leave on that because that's the best answer we've ever had to that. So I'm going to leave it with that. You've been watching me talking to Coilguns here at Damnation 2025. Hell Ripper is about to rip through the wall, so I'm going to finish now. Subscribe, do all your button stuff. It's been fantastic and emotional. Thank you.